Okay. Welcome everybody. This is the first, I guess, trial run of our Madhouse podcast. My name's Connor Graham. I'm here today with Ryan Byrne,
What's up?
and yeah, figured we'd start a little podcast and just talk about everything that's going on in the world. Talk about our feelings and just kind of give a perspective of a couple of 20-year-olds living in, the East Coast US.
Yeah. And how everything's been fucked?
Oh, especially lately.
Oh, yeah.
Especially lately. The past month or two have been beyond fucked. And it is absolutely wild everything that's been happening. You know, I know personally it's affected me in a whole lot of ways I've expected and ways I haven't expected.
What's the worst part of quarantine, you think?
The worst part of quarantine for me is definitely the lack of social contact. Um and me as a person, I'm a very, touchy-feely kind of friend. Like I'm the friend who will like hug you and I'm the friend who will like, give you a piggyback ride or pick you up, when you need it kind of thing. I'm a very social person, even if I am more introverted. So, having to, keep my distance from everyone and not be able to really bounce around and hang out with people as much. Like, I mean, like even last night, I asked to go hang out with, my best friend who I haven't seen in a while because of everything that's been going on, because we've both been working a lot and everything like that. I was like, hey, think I'm gonna go, hang out with him and spend the night or whatever. And my parents, obviously within reason, of course, were not too happy or thrilled about the idea. Um, and I realize, maybe it's not the smartest idea. We're in a pandemic to go hang out, but I don't know. It's just it slips your mind sometimes, and you forget. You know, we're not allowed to, or we shouldn't be within 6 feet of each other. We shouldn't spend the night with our best friends. We shouldn't hang out, kind of thing. And I think that's what's really getting me down the most, is
Yeah.
because I can't see my friends and I can't go out and do the things I love doing and do the things, I wanna do, and that sucks, but I mean, like, I don't even have it, I don't even hold a candle to how bad it is for you. Like, I don't know if you wanna talk about that, but
I don't know. It's been weird. So, I had similar stuff where I wasn't going out a couple years ago from, medical stuff.
mm,
And I guess it kind of feels like that was almost a trial run for this, where I was just
mm,
like, okay, I can't go and do a whole bunch of stuff, so I'm just going to be at home. And I guess it made me realize I was like, I needed to be okay with being bored, because just being bored leads me to, want to do new things, and, kind of why I thought, talking with you about us starting a podcast was cool and everything, because it's something that we haven't tried before, and, why not? It's
like,
just fun.
you both of us, you probably would have more of a shot of doing something like this given how, the business you're in and everything you do, but, for me, sitting down and doing this is, something you think about doing. You're like, "Oh, that'd be fun." And, you never really lead off with that, you never really do that, but the fact that we're actually sitting here trying to do this right now, who knows? Maybe this will never work, we end up stopping short or whatever, but I don't know, I see potential in this, and I see this being a lot of fun, and, you know, there definitely are some benefits to quarantine, and the fact of, like, I've started working out more, which is something I've always wanted to do.
Same.
I just sitting here and, getting into this cycle of waking up late because I went to bed late, going to work, coming home, and then just sitting here doing nothing. It got so stale so quick.
Dude,
And,
it was crazy
most people are
seeing
thinking like,
outside.
"Oh, this is awesome. I get to sit down, I get to play video games. I don't have to go to work. Oh, I'm getting paid." Like, it hits you, man. It really does hit you psychologically.
I always thought, oh man, I would love to be home and be able to, play video games all day.
Mhm.
Growing up, that's what I was like, man, that sounds awesome.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
actually experienced, hey, you just are at home, you don't have anything to do, you can just play stuff all day. I realize now I'm like, I need other stuff. I need to be able to, talk with people. I need to be able to, the little things I miss. I miss going and go get coffee from somewhere and, like, having those small interactions with people.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm bored. I woke up a little bit late. I'm kind of still tired. I'm really bored. I don't want to be home. Let me just go out and grab a coffee, enjoy the scenery and then kind of come back. And it's like you can't really do that anymore because you put yourself at risk. And like, yeah, obviously you can do it, but it's a very risk versus reward kind of like, is it really worth it kind of thing at this point.
It's
And like
it's
it's,
crazy.
it's absolutely wild because when this first started, um, I was hanging out with a bunch of my friends one night, and none of us thought, this is when it was first kicking off, and everyone didn't know how big of a deal it was, kind of thing. And we were thinking like, wow, this is gonna be great. We're just gonna be able to hang out, do whatever we want, not have to worry about work or anything like that. Things are gonna be great. And the next morning, after we had all left and went back to our own separate houses and everything like that, one of our friends who was there hit us all up and was like, "Hey guys, I've got a 102 fever and I'm feeling like absolute trash, and I'm sitting here in bed, barely able to move." And that's when it kind of hits you, where you're like, "Oh no, that's wow," and you kind of realize like, "Holy shit, I might be at risk here." And probably wasn't the smartest idea to hang out. And obviously, it turned out pretty well where he didn't have it. But in those 2 weeks that I was on self quarantine because of that, I was thinking this was going to be amazing. I'll just sit down, play video games all day, relax, watch TV, read a book, whatever. Things will be fine. By the fourth day, I was done.
It
Like by the
just
fourth day, I wanted to get the fuck out of the house.
I don't maybe it's just me. I never expected it to get this crazy.
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Like, I thought it was going to be like, hey, it's bad, like, and stuff, but, like, growing up, like, we were young-ish when, like, swine flu happened. And,
Mhm.
like, similar situations, like, going through a pandemic is insane because you always have heard about them and are always told, like, yeah, it was, like, terrible and stuff. But I guess for me, like, I couldn't fully wrap my head around it until starting to experience what it's like during it.
Yeah, of course. You always see it in movies, or you see it in like shows, or you read about it and everything that's happened, and you're like, wow, that's really terrible. I can't imagine that. And then you're living in it, and you're like, wow, no, this is much worse than I thought it was. um, Especially with like how quickly, I guess, it really spiraled. Where like,
Yeah.
I mean, like where we live, we didn't start getting cases until like the second wave of it, and that's crazy to me because this whole thing started off, we're all sitting here and we're partying and having a good time, worried about, oh, it's in Europe, it's like West Coast US, we're
You
good, we
never
don't have to
think it's
worry.
gonna be, like, right next to you.
Yeah, and then you wake up one day and you hear about 20 cases in the area, and everything's locked down and places are closing and state of emergency, all this kind of shit, and you're suddenly like, whoa,
It just went from,
what?
like, 0 to 100, like, real fast, just,
What
like
happened in these 3 days, guys?
it was like Monday I was out getting McDonald's, and then by Wednesday I was like, I can't go outside. I need to close the windows, put bars on them, and just like stay in and become a hermit.
Let me take a Lysol bath real quick. I
Yeah.
had to make sure I'm clean.
How many things of rubbing alcohol do we have? Okay, I think we'll last for a week.
Yeah, exactly. Like, hold on, wait, how much bleach do we have? No, that's not enough anymore.
Honey, grab the bleach, grab everything of toilet paper you can find, and then we're going to spray the house with Lysol.
Okay,
We've
but
only been the ones here. I don't care.
can we talk about the toilet paper for a second? Because
Oh
I feel
my
like
god.
that's something I've never fully grasped. Um, you think like, essential products for the impending apocalypse, essential. I'm gonna be locked in the house for months. You think food? You think water? Shit, man, you think tissues or some Lubriderm if you're that lonely kind of thing. But I've never once considered, Ah, yes, impending apocalypse. Bring me those toilet paper rolls. I must hoard them for my safety.
Dude, I just gotta say, like, people who went in early on bidets, it's really paying off right now.
Oh, absolutely. The people who were like, ah, yes, bidets. You realize now that they're the ones who are ahead of the game.
I was on Amazon the other day, just like, oh, how much are these? Like, maybe just like grab one. Don't have to buy toilet paper anymore. Save costs in the long run.
Yeah.
Find one with a heated seat. Really treat myself.
It's the day of the bidet market. Yeah, this is the point where the bidet market is clearly in the up and up, and
Bidet
toilet paper
stocks
is
are
coming to a
going on the
crash.
rise.
Whoever in the stock market was like, I'm just gonna throw 50 on the bidet market and see what happens. They're living right now.
Oh man.
Those are the kings of this time right now. But
I don't
like,
know, like for the most part, I feel like with this I ended up having a weird like arc, I would say, where I started off and I was like, everything's cool, like I'm being safe and everything, and then I got to a point where I was like, oh, like it's still going on, like I've been inside for a while, it's terrible outside, and then I was like, oh, Animal Crossing came out and it didn't matter for me.
I mean, honestly, Animal Crossing Doom Eternal could not have picked a better time to come out. And
They got the best window.
I know that's been, memed on so much on the internet, but it's absolutely true. Is they could not have picked there is not a chance in hell that a better time for a peak player base could have come out.
Yeah,
And like, if you think about it as well, Cyberpunk
I was
2071 or
gonna
whatever,
say.
Cyberpunk could have been there too.
If
Rest in peace.
Cyberpunk was here, like, during all this, I think it would have been a very different situation. I feel like a lot of people would have been hard into Cyberpunk that wouldn't have initially picked it up, just
Oh,
because they
absolutely.
were like, oh yeah, this is a new game out made by a company that, like, makes cool shit.
If you think about it, the definitely the CD Project Red people are saying they're being like, no, no, we missed it.
Dude, someone high up there must have just been like, fuck guys, why'd you have to delay it?
Some
Look at the
interns
money we
definitely
could have
got
made.
fired. There's definitely some interns that are saying they're like in the unemployment office right now, being like, "Shit."
And interns there just like, God damn it, guys. I tried, alright?
I did my best.
We didn't know this was gonna happen.
Well, how the hell was I supposed to know a pandemic would start?
It's just the intern sitting on, like, a toilet paper fort, though.
Oh, absolutely. Like he knew it was coming.
He's just there, he's like, God damn it, we had to push it back. We could have made so much money. And he's sitting there just, like, wiping, like, tears with toilet paper rolls.
I could have doubled my toilet paper supply if all had gone according to plan.
Dude, what about all the people that went hard into toilet paper? And were, like, trying to scalp it pretty much?
I mean, that also leads into the what is it, the Purell guy
Oh my
or whatever.
god.
Where if people listening don't know what that is, which I don't know how you wouldn't, it's been pretty popular, but there was a guy who, as soon as this thing started picking up, as soon as it started gaining wind or whatever, I think he about like what it was like 500 pounds of Purell.
I I think
It was
he ended up spending like $10,000 on Purell.
yeah, spent like 10 grand on Purell, and then was selling a bottle of Purell for like what $50, something like
Yeah,
that. He's
that
selling
sounds right.
Purell like for about $50, give or take. I want to say, don't quote me if I'm wrong, but it was a ridiculously scalped price.
Did you
And
hear what happened to
oh, absolutely, I was just about to get to that.
him? Sorry.
Where he made so much bank off of that of course, human bravado, human nature kind of thing, started flaunting it online. Posting Facebook, oh, I'm making money off this. Oh, look at my Purell money.
I
Sitting
got
there,
that clean money now.
oh, money not even touched by germs, 99%. And he's sitting there with his stacks of it, and some anonymous internet, wizards teamed up, I guess, and ended up finding, all of his stock, finding the warehouse where he was keeping his Purell stock, and signed him up to have donated all of that to charity.
Okay, so when I first heard it, it was police raided the place and
Mhm.
found like all the stuff that he was stocking up on. And they
Yeah,
were like, "Yeah, we really should like put you in jail for this because it's during a pandemic and you're trying to like price gouge
extortion.
people."
Yeah.
And he got off lucky by having to donate everything. Did you hear about the guy that ended up doing something kind of similar with face masks?
No, I don't believe I've heard that.
Oh, some guy had made a contract and sold to the government saying that they were going to sell 10 million face masks or something to the government for like however much. And they found out that he literally just made it up. He didn't have anything. So he literally was there and they just were like, "So these face masks you have." And he was just like, what?" And I think they ended up giving him like 20 years in prison.
20 years in, jeez. I mean, also tying in something not exactly similar, but just crimes during this whole pandemic kind of thing. There was that one woman who was charged with what was it, 3 federal offenses for, I don't know if you've heard about this. There was the a woman who went into a grocery store
Oh, I think
and
I've heard.
she was threatening to cough on people and threatening, just like, "Oh, I'm gonna get people sick. Oh, I'm gonna get people sick on purpose. I hate people." And I believe she coughed on 85 units worth of store goods,
Oh my god.
and the police ended up coming in and arresting her, and she was charged with acts of terrorism, intended terrorism, and like a whole bunch of other things. It was like 3 federal charges, a whole bunch of fines, and like several like minor federal demeanors kind of thing. Like, this woman was chartered as a terrorist.
Did you hear about the person that was licking ice cream in a Walmart?
I mean, there's the whole what, Corona challenge or whatever,
Oh yeah, that girl that licked a toilet seat?
like the airplane toilet seat,
The
saying, "I
thing
don't care if people get sick."
the thing that was crazy about the person that was licking ice cream was it was charged as heavily as Tylenol murders back in the 80s
Jeez.
when they were doing that because it's considered tampering with the like consumer goods. So she got like sent through the ringer pretty much on like charges for everything. I, what makes someone think that's a good idea?
Okay, can we talk about the whole Corona challenge period? Who the hell thinks that's a good idea? Yes, let's go around and lick random objects. Like, are people that desperate for content these days? Yeah, are
Dude,
the TikTok follows worth it?
I TikTok has some weird people on there doing stuff that I never thought was a good idea.
Listen, I've always been, the person where I was late to Vine. Yeah, I wasn't into
Same.
Vine until Vine was dead, and I'm watching the compilations at 2 in the morning going, "That's funny." You know, Never been into TikTok. Can't ever say I've been into TikTok. I think I've watched, like, the amount of TikToks I've watched, I can count on 2 hands, kinda thing. Like, I've never watched that many TikToks. The ones I've seen, they've been pretty good, but I don't know. I've seen
Also, why did TikTok just like didn't it start off where it was like people having music and stuff that they were going to, and
it
then
was
one day it feels like it just swapped to Vine like content completely.
well, it started off as, I think, Musically,
Yeah, you're
um,
right.
and I think it's like people just kept using that to make memes, and we're like, "Oh, we should be able to quote movies. We should be able to do this, do that." And suddenly TikTok was like, "I got a big brain idea." And they gave people the ability to do all these things that they're doing currently. And Vine 2 was born, even though it's not even close.
I just
Um,
want to go back to
Hey
something real quick.
guys.
What's up, Chris?
Welcome, Chris. We are in
How's
the
it going?
middle right now. We were just talking about uh the whole like TikTok trend for like the Corona challenge where people are going around licking stuff.
Oh my god. Actually, that's hilarious that you brought that up because the one of the girls who started it used to go to my college.
Oh
Really?
man.
Yeah. Um. She was in the same year as actually this graduating class. I didn't know her all that well, and she had apparently dropped out sophomore year, so my freshman year. So I didn't get to meet her, but my buddy Sean and my other friend Ryan Cassidy, they knew her, and she keeps popping up on their like Facebook mutual friends and like people you might know,
Hmm.
and they go and they just see the sort of shit she posts, and it was later found out that she was the first one to lick the airplane toilet seat.
Oh my
She
god.
she was or wasn't?
She was,
Oh Jesus.
and
It's
so
Was she always that dumb?
apparently so.
I
Oh
mean like
man.
they say ignorance is bliss, but I feel like that's a bit much.
Oh yeah. I wanted
Oh,
to bring it up. Going back to like games that were coming out during quarantine, the
Mhm.
fucking sleeper hit Warzone is for quarantine.
Oh, absolutely. Warzone.
Like no one
I,
expected that.
Warzone blew the fuck up.
I didn't even know Warzone was a thing, and then a week later, I am what $50 deep into paying into it, and I'm like,
Like we
I need
got
to
the
play
battle
this.
pass.
I need to
We're
play
like
this.
figuring out our loadouts.
No, nothing was better than fucking impulsing by Enter the Gungeon and Monster Hunter World.
I feel
Iceborne,
like
right?
now has been the time to like clean through backlogs.
Y-
Hmm.
Which is funny enough. That's what I've been doing the whole quarantine. You know, I I have a Steam library, not to brag, of about 280 games. Some of them good, some of them bad. Accumulated over many years kind of thing. I have played through to completion probably about 30 of them.
Yeah.
Um, because it's the whole situation where you're sitting there and something goes on sale and you're like, "Ooh, shiny new rock for my rock collection." And
But
you
then,
go
Ooh, another one.
and you go ahead and you buy it and suddenly you've got Bayonetta for $2 and you go ahead and 3 years after buying it or whatever, you go ahead and play it, and I absolutely had a blast with that game. I was not expecting to like it as much
did
as
you
I
finally
did.
finish it?
I beat it in 3 days,
Oh my god.
which,
So,
given how it's a platinum game with a whole bunch of replayability kind of thing, you unlock different difficulties, whatever. It's not that long. It was like 16-hour story.
what was
That's
the
actually
game you
pretty good.
played right before Bayonetta?
Right before Bayonetta. Um, Octopath Traveler.
Octopath?
Yes.
So,
Go ahead.
with RPGs right now, like, it feels like they're the perfect thing. You can dump a whole bunch of hours into it.
Oh, the
Um,
perfect time sync.
Another thing that's crazy, it's not out yet, but tomorrow, we're getting Chimera Squad for XCOM.
Yeah, I
From
saw
Chimera
that.
Squad, yeah.
And no one heard anything about this. Like, I remember Warzone, they gave a teaser a little bit beforehand, I
Mhm.
remember. But this whole XCOM Chimera Squad, no one heard anything about it till
I
just the other day.
Yeah, I saw
Clearly a
the ad.
sleeper drop.
I was talking with Connor on Discord, and I saw the ad, and I was like, "Oh, is this just like a comic movie?" Because the trailer for it had that like you know, the amazing Into the Spider Verse look to it, like that vibe. And then I
Best
went to go play
movie,
the actual,
best animated movie of all time.
and then I went to go see the actual trailer and everything, and I'm like, "Oh, it's an actual game! Like what?" And then there's like so many new variables in the game. Like you can have aliens on your squad, and then you have breach points. It looks insane.
Yeah, I went on my XCOM binge recently. You guys know.
Yep,
You
my
guys
hot
there.
pink Doom guy.
You guys were there experiencing with me. I went on an XCOM bender where I sat down and played XCOM for I think 3 days straight, like almost all hours of the day, having a blast with it, and then ended up getting bored of the base game and modding the hell out of it and going back and doing an Iron Man run. I love XCOM. I've been having a blast with XCOM. Period. Every time I play it, it's just so enjoyable. And for Chimera Squad to just drop tomorrow, 2 days actually, 2 days. I think it's the 24th that it comes out.
Okay.
Um, when Chimera Squad, Ryan brought it to my attention, I was at work on my 15-minute break, and I got a text from Ryan being like, "Hey, you seen this?" And I look at it, I'm like, "No, I ain't seen this, but I know I'm getting it."
Dude, being that standalone for $10 right now,
It's $10.
it's
$10
$10
on
pre-order.
sale. Yeah, pre-order. I think the sale goes till May 1st actually, where it's like a $10 sale, and then it's $20 normally, which for a standalone game
Dude, a
with
standalone.
DLC, that's pretty solid.
Is it a DLC for XCOM 2, or is it just like a standalone game by itself?
Standalone
Resident
game all on its
Yeah.
own.
Yeah, entirely on its own.
Well, I gotta see if that sale is on PS4 then.
Dude,
But
I never got into XCOM. But for
It's
some
such a
reason,
fun game.
watching you play through it, I was like, oh shit, like, I need to get into this. Watching you, like, have crazy as hell characters that would just, like, do shit where it's like, oh yeah, I got 2 pistols, let me just pop this guy that's, like, 30 feet away from me.
let me get 3 attacks. Let me 3 attacks. That's baby shit. Let me get 4 or 5 attacks in one round, just because every
After
time I get a
dashing.
kill, I reset. Like, the community, which I've noticed for that game, the modding community is especially dedicated to making quality content, which is ridiculous. Because I think that most of the quality mods I've seen have been like from 2 different people. Like the same 2 people are sitting down and being like, "This is gonna be my life's work to make the
Someone
best
in
mods
there
for this
is
game."
like, yo, I want to just make some guys in XCOM look like a clown. Why not?
And I think I looked at one of the biggest mod maker for the XCOM's pages. I think he had like 3.5K hours into the game. Like, this is a man who lives and breathes XCOM.
That's
And
the guy that you want making mods in games, though.
I'm surprised. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not surprised because he made a lot of copyright stuff mods, but I'm surprised Fraxis hasn't reached out to him and been like, "Hey, you want a spot? You make good content."
Have you ever heard about the situations with, like, Blizzard doing that with people, or, like, have you ever heard of people, like, hackers getting jobs at companies for
Didn't
security?
Bethesda do that?
Oh, I want to say, like, Blizzard's done it, like, Bethesda probably has done it, like, a ton of
Rockstar did
places.
too. I remember reading that one.
The people that are modders for games are the people that you want to work for you. Because when
Because
you
they
look
know
at it, like, they're the people that have sat there and played hours of your game and are, like, super into it. Like, they're knowing every little detail, even at times stuff that they themselves don't even know, and are able to improve or iterate on that in some way. Like, I know the game isn't popular now, but DayZ at a point was that. It was the mod that people would buy Arma for.
I mean, I bought Arma for DayZ, and I would never have touched Arma otherwise. No offense, like Arma or Arma Community, whatever. That's
It's
just not
just
my type of
not.
game.
Yeah, same.
I've
But
never played an Arma game.
watching DayZ and watching like YouTube people, God, there's one guy who I can't even remember. I think it was Frankie on PC in 1080p. But he just had this whole really cool DayZ playthrough where he would like role play and make a story and like sit down and have cool ass encounters and narration and everything like that, and it was really cool to watch, and that spurred me to go out and buy it, and of course my computer couldn't run it, So I booted it up and I got dropped in the middle of Cherno and I'm running around at 2 FPS going like, this game sucks!
You're in Cherno and some dude's like, hey, yo, come here. And you're just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And he's just like helping you for like an hour until all of a sudden he's just like, yeah, I'm done. And just shoots you. And you're just like, fuck that dude.
Yeah, you're like, I thought we were friends, man. I was
He's-
gonna make you my kid's godfather, and you did this to me?
The dude's just like laughing, blasting hip hop in the background.
Yeah, he's hot miking Eminem, and you're sitting
Yeah.
there, and you're like, what a world.
You're like, dude, hot mics, I feel like they are a lot less common from like years ago now. But I think that was like peak gaming.
Okay, but the hot mic subspecies of gamer is a very rare and like beautiful breed in and of itself.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of one of the hot micers we encountered recently, there was the guy in Warzone. Can't even remember his name. Clearly, just a dude playing from his PS4. He's got his Alexa blasting, any kind of hip hop, whatever he's got going on, and he's sitting there, and then his kids in the background screaming. His wife or baby mama or someone comes up. And they just start going at it, fighting in the middle of the match.
Just like full on, just it doesn't matter.
Full on screaming. And this man's gameplay did not waver, period. This man was like popping people left and right, getting kills, buying reses, doing everything. And he's like having it out with his wife the whole time. He's like, what the fuck you mean I ain't doing it? And then she's like, it's hilarious.
Just back and forth. Dude, I think like multiplayer games like that, like Call of Duty back in the day, Halo, those were the games where like you would get on and it was like people were just saying the worst shit and you either had to learn to deal with it or get clever enough with comebacks because there was no other way to survive in those games.
If your comeback game was trash in like 2012, 2013, you were dead.
Yeah.
Your online gaming presence was completely just killed off. If you're
that's
that,
why I always muted my mics. I'm like, I have no comeback game.
if you're that kid in like Halo 3 lobbies or like Modern Warfare 2 lobbies where someone's like, yo, get good, loser, and you're like, oh, your mom, like you're done.
Yeah.
Like,
You had to learn as a kid to be like, nah, fuck this dude. Like, you gotta come at him with like the uppercut when he's expecting a jab. Just like
you gotta
throw him off.
Literally the Sherlock Holmes Robert Downey Jr. scene of like he's planning through the whole thing. He's like discombobulate, elbow block, three shattered ribs, shattered jaw, like full psychological recovery, 3 months.
Dude, you would get into a match and you're just like playing the game and trash talking, and this guy was like 6 steps ahead. He had a paragraph typed out in Xbox message, just like ready to go for if he got killed.
He's ready. It's like it makes you think it really was a sink or swim time for gamers.
It really was.
Like there was the experienced people who were like, they've been there. They were there when that started. They knew what to do. And then there's us, the younger generation coming in. It's like, we need to learn how to do this. Like, I can't just be that squeaker on the mic.
Dude, it's hilarious because I feel like as us growing up playing those games, we learned that, and we're at a point now where we have to, like, carry on the torch. Like, we gotta trash talking games and make sure people learn how to get clever comebacks. And, like, I know for me personally, when someone has something, like, really smart as a way to come back at me for, like, trash talking, because, yeah, I play games, I get toxic, like, it's just how I am, I get mad. And to just go from having that situation growing up, you need to be the one to bring that to them to hopefully make them learn as well as we can. Although Zoomer memes, fucking, I don't know how they do it. They're just on top of that shit all the time.
It's really crazy thinking about it because it's kind of like both a rite of passage as a gamer to deal with shit talking and figure out comebacks and clever comebacks for like shit talking and how to handle that and how to handle toxicity. It's kind of like a rite of passage where it's like once you reach that stage where you can like deal it, you're really like in there. And it's also kind of like a really good way to like grow up.
It really was.
Bringing it back honestly to games that have been, the top of the quarantine list and like games that have come out or that we've been really into over quarantine. For me personally, I've never played an Animal Crossing game before,
Oh man.
like period.
I still haven't.
And New Horizons came out the same time Doom Eternal, and I bought both of them because I have poor impulse control. But sitting down and playing Animal Crossing, I realized a couple things. It's that one, sometimes the simplest concepts and the simplest executions can be the most enjoyable. Because like when you sit down and you hear about a game where it's like, yeah, you fish and you catch bugs and you sell it to make money to sell off your mortgage, doesn't sound that fun. Yeah, it's bizarre job, pay off your mortgage adult simulator. That doesn't sound
Okay.
too fun to me.
See,
But sitting down and actually playing it for the first time and sitting down and being like, "Oh, wait, this is actually fun."
yeah, I
So,
want to get into the game Stardew Valley. Sorry to cut you off, Ryan, because it seems like a very similar game and something my laptop can run.
dude, Stardew and Animal Crossing are great, and I've
Harvest
always
Moon.
seen those games as not like, I don't know, it's weird. I guess
It's
go
mindless
hard
fun.
into them, but it's therapeutic. The idea that I can wake up every morning and be like, all right, I'm gonna go talk to my villagers, get a DIY recipe, go check out the shop, like, see what furniture's on sale, like, yo, what's in there, like, doing that stuff each day. I know for me personally, it's like, hey, it's nice to have what I feel like almost is like a chore that I have to do each day. But
Yeah.
like, it's not a chore that I feel bad about doing. Like, it feels good to get on and be like, oh, like, this shop's upgrading. Like, I don't know what you expected going into it fully to, like, Animal Crossing, Connor, but I feel like a lot of people have had similar experiences where they were like, oh, I don't really know about this game. And then because of everyone being inside right now, that game has gained like a crazy following with like
Oh,
people just going
no
insane with
doubt.
it.
I mean, there's a website for turnip prices. Like that's crazy to me that people like it's gotten that big that fast where people are already buying domains for like these are the best turnip prices right now.
Sell, sell, sell.
Oh, you need it's like a stock market for in-game video and currency, and like that's not unheard of, obviously. But for Animal Crossing, that's incredible to me because when I was going into it, I was like, oh, cool, this is a game that I'll sit down, I'll play for like an hour, and I'll get bored of. And then here I am, like waking up 3 days in a row, being like, oh, well, got a fish, got to
Dude,
tend
it's
to my
like
garden.
11 o'clock at night. You're like, dude, I just need to catch one more tarantula and I'll sell it when Flick comes by the next time and make more money on it and pay off this one mortgage. Able Sister's going to open tomorrow. Like,
The funniest part and the kind of most endearing part of it was the camaraderie that came out of it.
oh, it's
When there's
so
like
good.
when there's 3 or 4 of us even sitting down in the Discord call at 2 in the morning, giving each other strategies to farm tarantulas or like best places to like catch certain fish and everything like that, or hey, I got shooting stars on my island, come on over. Like,
It's so wholesome, and I think that's kind of what everyone needed right now. And
oh,
like
absolutely.
that
It
coupled with Doom, where Doom is the game where you're like, yo, fuck this, I'm just gonna go play, I wanna kill stuff, I wanna feel like a badass. And then Animal Crossing, the far end of the spectrum, just like, oh my god, I got new flowers, I'm gonna make them crossbreed and grow a fruit farm.
it
See,
gives like such a good feeling of control when you can do these, especially in this Corona time where like barely anyone has control over anything.
it's a nice slice of life that we all realize like didn't know we needed. And that's what I think is the most important part of it. And what's so cool about it is the fact that we are unable to, some of us especially aren't able to go out right now. Period. There's people who are very, very vulnerable, people who like, are at risk where if they catch this at all, they're likely to die. And thinking about those people where they're literally trapped inside their houses, they can't leave, they can't do anything, they can't see the people they love or do the things they want to just have this game that's so simple and sweet and wholesome and has such a good strong community behind it. It's what we all needed and didn't realize we did. For them to be able to wake up and tend to a garden or go fishing or like, chop down some trees, sell some fruit. Like, it's so cool.
Dude, something about those first few days on Animal Crossing when everyone was like talking to each other and was just like, yo, what fruit you got? I got apples. Like, oh, you got apples? I got oranges. Like, let's trade each other so we can sell them on our island. And like, seeing everyone just go and be like, I'm going to make this island exactly how I want it to be. And seeing the different, like, visions that people had for them. Like, you went and made a orchard on your island, like, right away. Like, you got that shit down to a science, and I'm still jealous, dude. Like, I have no idea how you could set that up.
I literally brought the industrial era into my Animal Crossing island in, like, the 3rd day, where by the 3rd day, I had perfectly, like, spaced out, perfect view segment trees, where it's like, yes, these are all apple trees, these are all oranges, peaches, etc. I just have to go down the line, shake the tree, sell the fruit, and I've made, like, 40K in 5 minutes. Like,
it's so crazy to
and
think.
then getting people like Megan, who, like, they had such creative views for it, where it's like, I'm gonna make a pizza place because I can.
I never thought of, like, it's always interesting seeing someone else's island, because other people are, like, thinking about, oh, I want to make this in the game instead, and seeing that stuff and being like, oh, that's a really cool idea, I'm gonna do, like, my spin of it on my island and stuff. It seems cool, because it's something that, like, you don't see right now, like, how everyone's doing and what they're doing personally, unless they're, like, on social media. It's crazy to see, like, how everyone makes it their own.
And then, honestly, you could bounce ideas off of people. It's like, I went to your island and I saw what you were doing, where, like, you were putting down the stencils to make a pathway. And I was like, wait a minute, that's cool as hell. And so I went ahead and went back and immediately started doing that too. And it's like, the fact that it's so easy and so cool to personalize it and make it your own is, I think, the coolest part of it. And then, of course, when you get too pissed off because Nook's charging you 1 mil to renovate your house or whatever, you just go and kill some demons of doom.
Exactly. You're like, screw this, I need some glory kills right now, and just, like, get ready to go.
Let me rip the eye out of a Kako demon real quick. Let me let me slaughter hordes of the damned so I can fill my angry soul from my lack of ability to pay a debt to a fucking Tanuki.
So, you mentioned making things your own, and that got me thinking about another thing that we've been doing recently with quarantine, which is My Hero, and going through watching a whole lot of that. And
such a good show.
You have watched it. I have never seen My Hero Academia before. I've seen, like, memes of it, but that's it.
Now actually getting into the culture, I'm watching, like, 2 seasons in, like, a week. How are you feeling?
Dude, I feel dumb for not watching it earlier. I feel like that show is a lot of, like, the ideas and just, like, it's got good messages behind a lot of the characters.
When
And
this
I
show
think it's
first
awesome.
came out, I was 100% against watching this show. I thought it was dumb. I didn't like the art style. I'm like, it's overhyped, and I'm never gonna watch this show.
Chris, I was in the exact same boat. Minus the art style. I thought the art style was really cool, but I'm sitting there and I'm like, really? Another basic shonen anime? What? This dude's gonna be overpowered. This dude's gonna just not have any trouble beating anyone. It's gonna be really boring, really stale. And then you get
Exactly.
then you get like the third episode where the first punch is thrown, and
And
you're
then
like,
you're like, oh,
when
okay.
when
Okay.
this 16-year-old freckle-faced loser breaks both of his legs jumping into the air and then breaks his arm punching a 10-story robot into pieces, that's when you're sitting there and you're like, okay, maybe the show has something.
Dude, so I'm used to animes where it's like a little bit slow for a while and then like you really get to good parts. Like I love Dragon Ball and stuff. Like that was an anime that I really enjoyed growing up.
Mhm.
I don't think it's the best anime, but like that's what I expected this to be similar to going in.
It's so fast paced.
The first episode, I was like, holy shit, that was already over, and I was like, yo, we gotta start the next one. Like, we gotta keep going. To a point where, like, we spent, 6 hours the other day watching My Hero because I was just, like, sitting there and just like, yo, that was sick. I want to keep figuring out what happens next in the story.
We watched 18 episodes in one sitting, which I know for some, professional bingers, that's not a lot, but
Me.
for someone like me who's working 40 hours a week and someone like Ryan who like has editing work to do and stuff like that, it's hard to find the time to sit down for a while, even in these challenging times, to just sit down and watch a show together and like bond over that. So for us to sit down and binge 18 episodes in one sitting, that just it's a testament to the show.
Yeah,
Dude,
I think when I first started watching My Hero, they were already on season 3. And I think like a 4 or 5 episodes in. And I was able to get up to that point within a day. I was like, I cannot put this down. This show is too good. Like I constantly have to have my phone plugged into the wall because I did not leave my room, and if I did, I carried my phone with me to watch it.
it
It's
is
it's
insane.
it's a true testament to how addicting the show is and how good of a show it is, where the 20 minutes of the show flow so quickly. You hear like you're snapped out of the trance that you were in by the ending theme and how jarringly different it is from what's happening on screen.
Oh
You're
my
like, wait
god,
a minute,
yes.
what? 20 minutes have passed? Wait,
So,
what?
when I first was watching it and they, like, did the whole thing where it was like, hey, here's all of the characters right now, I was like, oh god, this is too much, like, I need to hold off for a sec, and I thought I wasn't going to remember any of them. But then, like, 4 or 5 episodes later, I'm like, oh, yo, Todoroki's, like, pretty cool, I can dig his abilities with his quirk, and, like, seeing everyone's, like, it's not just about Deku, it's about the entire class of, like, Hero Class A and stuff, and, like, what everyone there is going through.
Wait,
It's so cool that it is like that, and how the main character of the show has less of an interesting backstory, like in comparison to one of the background characters, which is Todoroki, where
duh.
the man has such a shonen protagonist backstory.
Oh,
Where I'm not
his
gonna spoil.
backstory is it's
Yeah,
insane.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. I'm not gonna say anything in case anyone wants to go out and watch it because we're saying all this. But the fact that the background character has more immediate thrown in depth than the main character and more drive, it's hilarious. Period. And I think that's what they were going for. But the fact that you're like watching and it's focused on the one character, but you still care about and want to see the growth and potential and just love every single other character they show. Like you go into it and they throw a cast of like what, 20 characters in,
Yeah.
and I remember, Ryan, immediately you were like, I'm not gonna remember any of these fucking people. And the last session we're sitting there and you're like, man, dude, oh, Sato's quirk has really, grown over the
Yeah.
past couple episodes. I'm really cool. That's really cool to do that. Oh, I didn't know Koda could talk. That's really amazing. Like,
Oh right, I forgot Koda reveals he can talk.
it's like,
Dude, seeing, like, all of these characters grow, like, through their arc and stuff, it really does mirror the stuff that you would see in a regular class, where, like, first day of school, like, a lot of people don't know each other, and they're just there to do their work. But throughout time, like, you get to know people better and, like, want to know what's going on with them, and, like, you hear why they're, like, in that class or whatever. And it really does a good job at, like, making you feel like you are hearing the stuff that's going on with them like you would in any, like, school setting.
It has the most realistic flow and character growth that I've ever seen in a show, in the sense of, like, you can see background or foreground the slow transition of, we're all new students who barely know each other, to, I am now friends with this person, I'm caring about this person individually, we're forming a clique in our classroom. Like, you can see every little detail where, like, these characters have grown closer and they're going to bond together and they form a little friendship and form a little clique.
Dude,
And
the
then
friendly rivalry, Ida and Deku, is so good. And I
it
never
starts
expected
off
it.
it starts off with such a dick measuring contest where Ida's feeling everything Deku's doing is such a personal attack on his character, and how, like, I've misjudged you. I didn't realize what you were truly going for. That's my fault. I'm gonna get better than you. I'm gonna improve myself because you've given me this chance to. Like, you've shown me what I can be and what I should be, and because of that, I'm going to push myself. And that's fantastic. And seeing him grow as a character and seeing their friendship literally go from, like, a casual kind of high five to the brotherly manly fireman grip, like,
Oh,
grip,
it's
where they
so
grab each
good.
other, lock eyes, and they're like, you are my brother. Like, you can see the growth, feel the growth, and that's incredible.
To
And
see...
personally, seeing you, Ryan, someone who's never been hooked on any anime other than, like, what was it, Cowboy Bebop, or, like, stuff like that, where you literally, like, you have, like, yeah, I'll watch it. Like, I had to sit there and convince you, like, dude, you gotta watch this show. And you're like, I'll give it a shot, okay? And you sat down and you watched it. And after the first episode credits hit, you're like, so wait, we're doing this, right? We're watching this, right? This is happening now?
Yeah. Like, you've had... maybe it's just me, but I've had a ton of experiences where it's like, someone goes to show you something that they're like, yo, dude, this is great, and they just, like, overhype it to death.
Oh, and
And
it
then you
sucks.
get into it, and it's like, to have that expectation where I'm like, oh, people are just overhyping this, and then to come in afterwards and be like, oh, wait, they weren't wrong. Like, seeing all of these characters go through stuff, and just like, dude, I'm seeing, like, suplexes from, like, the
Oh my
characters for
god.
attacks. I'm, like, losing my mind, like, this is amazing, seeing all crazy stuff like that. But,
Someone
like,
getting punched
One
out
of
of
the
the
great things
stratosphere.
dude,
about this
every
show,
time Deku improves and gets a better idea of how to use his quirk, it feels good. You feel like you are growing with the character and, like, learning with him, and it's not just him learning on his own.
And, like,
like,
it starts off where, like, they do the whole quirk over, like, narration thing where it's like it tells you how the person's power works and what they do and all little interesting tidbits about it. And you're like, yeah, cool, I don't care. And then you're waiting for it, and you're like, tell me, Mike, tell me what he's got, tell me his power.
like one
Let me
of the
see a
great
Detroit
things
Smash.
about this show is, like, it doesn't follow a lot of the, like, normal anime tropes. Like, a lot of times, like, the main character usually has plot armor, or you can tell that they're gonna win this battle, or they're gonna be top dog or bottom dog and be the best underdog of the school. A
Yeah,
lot of a lot of
invincible
these
protagonist syndrome.
Yeah, a lot
So,
of these episodes don't have that. Like, you see Deku fail quite often, and you see the, like, side characters kind of smash him and, like, outshine him all the time.
it's insane to see that stuff, because, like, coming into it, I was like, oh yeah, he's just going to, like, figure out how to use his quirk and win, and, like, minor spoilers here. I was figuring he was going to win the, like, first, like, sports festival or whatever it was for the school.
Same when I first saw that.
And then to have him lose, I was like, wait, what? Like, I didn't expect it to happen, because I feel like it was just the trope where it was like, oh yeah, he overcomes it and everything's cool, he figured it out. But
It's
to not have that happen, I think makes the show much more engaging because you really feel like you don't know what's going to happen in these fights.
It's truly a show that subverts your expectations, where you go into it thinking it's gonna be like any other show, where it's like, oh, he's against a foe that's way too strong for him, and he's going to last minute unlock a hidden ability of his power that he couldn't master before, but now can suddenly master and win.
Nope.
It gives you a healthy dose of loss
Dude,
to the
with
point
every
where
episode here, I feel like it is making a strong contender for like one of my favorite animes now.
I literally have a poster of it on my wall, and I have posters for like nothing. Like I've got a Marvel poster, I've got a My Hero poster, and I got a Naruto poster I got from a game pre-order.
Dude, I got
So like,
like the same situation. It's like, here's 3 games/movies that I'm into. They're the only things I'm going to show here. But
See,
I
the
don't
only
know.
poster I currently have is my sister hung it up years ago, and it's a Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief poster.
I mean, hey man, you need something on your wall, and if that's Logan Lerman as Percy Jackson,
I mean, the actual posters I have, were not advertised by these people, but I fucking love them. Display, they do metal
Oh yeah, I got
posters.
some. They're awesome.
I know.
They
I have 3 of them. I have Naruto in Eight Tails mode on a red sun. I have one of my favorite game series, Metal Gear Solid. I just have Metal Gear Rex
yeah.
on a horizontal one, and it's beautiful because it's not like almost watercolor, like Japanese watercolor. And then my sister got me one of Japanese style mountains.
Display's great. Please sponsor us.
yeah.
Yes.
No,
Oh my! If Display sponsors us, please. Oh my god, I fucking love that company. I want to buy
currently
more from
not
them.
sponsored, but
We're
shout out to
not.
Display. You're a fantastic company, and now I want to buy these things. So thanks, guys.
Connor. After we're done, go look at the catalogs. They have animes, they have video games, they have movies, they have books.
Okay, now we're starting to sound like a sponsor. We're gonna get off the
Okay,
shout out to Display though. But
but going back to My Hero, it's really cool seeing the growth in these characters, and it's not something that I normally see in an anime where I feel this attached to a character this quickly, and like seeing the group of people that like the fandom of it in like previous conventions and stuff that we have been to and like I've gone to, it's crazy to see and understand now why people are so into this show and like it so much, and to just think about it and be like, oh, this show really is that good. It has reason to like be something that tons of people recommend nowadays.
it's one of the most realistic, unrealistic shows. If that makes
See,
any sense.
no, I get what you're saying. Like, I couldn't get into One Punch Man because I felt it was just too over the top for me. And like,
See,
I normally love over the top stuff. Like, wrestling is hilarious for that in general. I love games that like are self-aware and stuff. Stanley Parable is a very good example of that, of a game that knows what it's doing. And to see a show that knows what it's doing and knows what you expect and will go out of its way to like throw you off with it is new. Like, you don't normally see that.
It's honestly, I don't say it lightly when I say that it's one of my favorite shows, like ever. Like I don't throw that around. We have a buddy of ours who throws around the word favorite like like favorite's water, but I truly mean it when I say that it is one of my favorite shows. Like this is the show that I want everyone to watch. This is the show that I want everyone to love and get involved in so we could talk about it. And we could sit here and talk about the show for hours
like
nonstop.
I love this show. I wouldn't say it's one of my favorites, just because when I first started watching anime, like human fighting was not the ones I watched. I did watch Naruto a lot, but that's because it was one of the first animes I was shown. But probably my favorite anime of all time has always been a mecha one called Van Dread, and to me, nothing really tops that show. It's a very short show, and it does have a lot of like real like life hitting thoughts to it. Like it targets so many different like problems, and it's honestly one of my favorites. But My Hero kind of comes close to that. I would say My Hero is either top 5 or top 4.
Alright, I have a question for you, which I know we talked about early on when I was watching.
Mm.
Who do you think, like, quirk and stuff, like, character-wise, each of us are like? Because I
Uh,
remember this conversation
Are
clearly
we,
from the
okay,
first
are
time.
we saying who we think you guys are, or who
each
or
other, each other. We're
Each
not,
other.
because if we go for ourselves, it's your view of yourself versus other people. I feel like we should let other people give it to us, just because that's more
yeah.
like this is what you give off. So I'm
Also,
gonna go ahead and start off the bat, and I'm gonna throw Ryan and compare him to Mr. Aizawa, the professor, because Ryan is the most laid back dude I have ever met. In the sense of like, there could be a burning building, and Ryan would be like, "Oh shit, that's on fire." And like, I don't mean that in a bad way. I don't mean that in like Ryan's like slow. I mean that Ryan is just so chill and like takes everything with a grain of salt and like never really cracks. At least that I've seen. I've seen him crack a couple times, but I've never really seen him crack. And that's kind of just like Mr. Aizawa. Mr. Aizawa does not crack. He is the man who's willing to go the extra mile when he has to. He's the man who's willing to be there and do what he has to and push on and really give the whole definition to the plus ultra. But when the man's not doing that, he's chilling there with a Capri Sun in a sleeping bag.
dude, when you first said that to me, I was like, nah, I'm not like that at all. And then we kept watching, and I was like,
Ryan,
oh
that is
man,
exactly
Aizawa is
you.
like real cool. I can fuck with him. He's got like a lot of the same feelings. And I was sitting there, and I was like, yeah, I can dig this.
All right. Now, I'm not going to be self centered and say, what do y'all think of me? So I'm going to say, what do we think of Chris?
Ooh.
Because personally, for Chris, I'm stuck between Rikido Sato, the sugar guy, or I'm stuck between that or Kirishima. And
Oh,
I have reasons for both.
I want to hear your
Okay,
reasons for
so
this.
so
Wait,
I
let's
had
see
an
what
idea
Ryan
in
has to
mind,
say.
Uh-huh.
and you supported that, so I think it's the right one. I can see Chris's Kirishima
Kirishima, okay.
100%.
For people who are listening who don't know Chris is a lovely person.
I'm an
Chris
asshole.
He's an asshole when he needs to be. He's an asshole when he wants to be. But Chris, deep down, is generally a good person and is loyal to a fault.
Yeah.
Chris is the type of person where you could call him at 4 a.m. and say, "I need you," and Chris would be like, "Okay, let me get my pants on. I'll be right there."
Hell
Like,
no, I'd come show up in my boxes if you needed me that bad.
Chris is the definition of loyal, and Chris is the definition of friendship. And I have known Chris since
Coming from the guy who walked with me at 3 a.m. in a blizzard.
we did go for a 3 a.m. blizzard walk, and we could talk about that in a little bit. But Chris and Kirishima, the moment I saw Kirishima, Chris, I thought of you like immediately when I first started watching the show. And for those of you who haven't watched the show, Kirishima is his power is hardening. He can harden his body to be like as strong as steel or something like that. Like the man is a walking tank, and his core beliefs are manliness, friendship, and strength. Like, he never gives up on his friends, even if the situation looks grim. He is always willing to push forward and do whatever he has to do. He is always there to be like, I am a man. I am going to like nut up or shut up. He is the definition of that. If there is a problem, he's like, all right, let's handle this. He's not, all right, how do we handle this? It's all right, we're doing this. And that to me is Chris.
So, but why were you suspecting Sugar Rush? I want to hear that.
Chris also worked at a bakery for
Oh.
most of his life.
9 years.
And Chris has these random bursts of energy where he's like suddenly driven by these core desires to do something, where he's like, I'm gonna go for a 5-mile run.
Okay, it wasn't 5 miles.
and then
6.71.
he crashes afterwards. And that is the definition of Sato. That's his power. That's what he do. And that's why I was thinking that, because I'm like, Chris, you are Kirishima with the sugar rush.
So Ryan, I want to hear why you think I'm Kirishima, since you've only known me since like December.
You, and this might be annoying to hear. I feel as though you are very quick to head into something and not worry about it,
Right,
and
that's
just figure
exactly
that
how I
it's
live my
going
life.
to go right, and like you're going to handle it no matter what. So seeing him do similar things where he most of the time is just like ready to go into a fight, he doesn't care what's going to happen, he knows he can take the punches. And you have similar qualities, I feel, where you're just like you're always ready to go into a battle for the people that you care about, and you like can be at a point where it's like, look, you can get, I don't see this often, where you're like annoying to some, but it's because you care about them so much, and like you know that you really want to help them.
I mean, like, how many times in this pandemic has Chris dropped us both off food?
Oh,
Like, in that time when we were quarantined, where Chris has quite literally just every day been like, "Yo, you want food? Like, I'm going out to pick up some food. You guys want me to drop you
Chris
off?" And
comes in clutch with the McDonald's when I need it
Oh, oh,
most.
oh my, yeah,
He
fucking.
doesn't realize it till like afterwards, but I'm like sitting there and he's like, "Yo, you want McDonald's?" And I'm like, "Dude, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah, I'll take a McNugget."
the
Yeah,
one
that was
time,
actually a funny ass day, because that was the day I want to drive out to, I have a terrible problem with nicotine, for all our fans when we get them. So I was just going out because some of the stores had just reopened up. I'm like, wait, McDonald's is almost right next door to the shop. Fuck it, I'm gonna get McDonald's. And I knew Connor was at work, so I didn't want to text him because I didn't think I could bring McDonald's to where he worked. So I'm
it
like,
would have been really funny if you did, though.
I was like, oh, you know what? Let me ask Ryan. I'm like, all right. So I was brushing my teeth to go out. I'm like, hey Ryan, I'm gonna go get some McDonald's. You want anything? He goes, oh fuck yeah, man.
Dude, I miss with quarantine and everything. I really truly miss those like 2 a.m. runs or like midnight
Oh my
runs to McDonald's where everyone's just like, "Yo, we're on Discord. Yeah, let's go grab some food. We're gonna hang out for a bit, come back, play some League or something." Like
Which
that's the thing I think I miss the most.
that itself is hilarious, Ryan, because you literally just explained how we met.
Dude.
Um, for to elaborate on that, Ryan is the younger brother of one of my coworkers, Owen, who is a great person. Love you, Owen. I miss you. Um, but Owen was always like, "Yo, you should meet my brother. You guys would get along really well. You guys would vibe pretty well." And I was always like, "Okay, dude, whatever you say." Like, okay. And then we sit down and we play League of Legends one night for a couple hours, and it gets to like 2 in the morning, and Owen's like, "All right, I'm gonna head to bed." And then me and Ryan are sitting here, barely like we've talked for like 3 hours. That's it.
Yeah, 3
And
hours
then
total.
Ryan's like, "You want to go to McDonald's?" And I was like, "Yeah, okay." And I drive to his house and I pick him up, just meeting him, and we drive to McDonald's together and we sit down and we eat McDonald's at 2 in the morning, and that's how I kind of know. I was like, "Yo, this guy's a real one." You
Dude,
know that
it's insane to think that like we were just sitting there playing games and all of a sudden just both of us were like, yeah, we could go for McDonald's. And to just go out and just be like, yeah, this is a person that someone I know has met before. I don't know who it is. And just go and meet you and to learn like stuff about you and realize how good of friends we got over time. It's insane.
Yeah,
it's so funny to think about.
it's actually kind of similar to how I met Ryan. It was the beat ups day, where like everyone showed up. I'm like, well, we had talked
There
about
was
going
like
to
seven
beat
of
up.
us.
Yeah, 7 or 8 because I think Mike Sefilov, this oh, my bad.
Yeah, it's fine. Just Mike.
Mike
Um,
decided to show up, and I'm like, yeah, because I knew most of the people who were going, but then you had the one friend show up. I don't remember her name at all, and then you told me Ryan was coming. I'm like, all right, I've talked to Ryan a few times on Discord, but I'm like, oh, he sounds pretty cool on Discord, but like we've never actually talked at all. So when I met him, I'm like, all right, all right. And we've talked about this like what was it yesterday or 2 days ago of like me reading people's key and everything, and like initially meeting him, like he had a he had a good like stance to him. He had like a very charismatic stance to him, and that's what I think has driven me to like I want to say a pretty damn close friend to Ryan by now. I don't
I'd
know,
say so.
yeah, like I don't drive to people's houses and drop off food for just anyone.
it's going back to that as well. It's even more endearing that Chris did. Someone's like, I know there's someone out there saying like, so what? He drove 5 minutes for fucking food, and you don't. The whole point of it, and that makes it so endearing, is Chris drove 20 minutes the other direction to get the food, then 20 minutes back and 15 minutes in the other direction to give food to me, and then another 20 minutes to get to Ryan, and then went
Though
home.
I did mess up our orders, Connor.
It was
It's
hilarious, though.
insane because it's weird to see, like, I did not expect, and, like, I don't even know what to say, like, I did expect at the time, when, like, going from talking with you guys on Discord and stuff, and, like, playing games together, to meeting in person and stuff, and, like, it's weird because, to say it, it's like, everything that I think I know about someone on Discord can be completely wrong when you meet someone in person.
I try to keep like my same character on Discord and in person because I try and I try to live in the world of the second mask, and we'll talk more about that later when we talk about like ideologies if we ever talk about that. Well, we also never said what characters we think Connor is.
Go ahead, hit me with it.
I
I'm all
have
ears.
a couple that I
Ryan,
have
you
come
go
to
first.
Couple. Oh,
So,
Uh,
recently I thought this. So, I think Shoji is one that I could kind of see.
which one?
Which,
Showed?
it kind of sounds, like the 8
the
arms.
tentacle guy.
Oh, okay.
And I can also see Ida.
Ida. Ooh, I'm very, very curious as to reasons for both of them,
See,
So,
because those are not the characters I would have gone for. Period.
those aren't the ones I had in mind.
Well,
it's just me thinking, I feel like seeing how Shoji, like, has developed in the recent few episodes we watched. Which, what episode did we end on?
Oh god, I can't remember.
Didn't we, like, just get to season 3 now?
We're about to get to a really big fight, which I don't want to.
We got to a point where, like, a big fight's about to happen with the
USS.
main villain.
USS.
Yeah.
So, like, they had stuff with them not being at the school recently, and events happening in regards to that, which is, I think, the easiest way to broadly say it. Yeah. But seeing his character be like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but seeing him be like, look, I know you have a hard decision here with, like, choosing what to do with these two characters. And to see him pretty much be like, look, I don't care what happens, I'm going to support whatever you do either way, it's your decision. I feel like I've seen you do similar stuff, and, like, you still support people even when they might not do what you think is what they should do.
I mean, I try to put forth into the world what I'd expect to have happen to me, and what that kind of entails is I'm a very kind of like, if you put a choice in front of me, I basically know what I'm gonna pick right away. Like some of them I'll debate over, but I basically know what I would pick, and I'm kind of always sitting there and I'm like, why wouldn't people pick this? But like, if you guys went out of your way and you're like, I want this one instead, I'm not gonna be like, that's wrong. What the fuck? Like, I end up always being like, dude, I can see why you picked that. I'll be there for you. Like, whatever happens, man, whatever you're doing, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna support you. Cause like, I love seeing my friends grow. And I love seeing my friends be the best versions of themselves that they can be and that they want to be. And helping them with that constant improvement is something I'm always willing to do, no
It's
matter what.
really funny because hearing you say that, I remember how similar but also different from what you're saying there when we first started playing WoW. How we just, me and my brother, who Connor works with, were like, yo, dude, you gotta try WoW. And he finally was like, yeah, I'll try it. And he was like, what should I play? And me and my brother at that point were just like, play whatever you want. We'll play around you. And hearing you be like, you guys can't just keep saying, play whatever you want. You're too nice about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're giving me the world and options here, it kind of bears down on me.
See, the characters I would think Connor were either Ojiro or Tokoyomi.
Tokoyami, okay.
I could see Tokoyami as well.
Damn,
Tokoyami, because he is 100% loyal to everyone in his class, and he seems to be the most who bounces between every clique in that class. But the man is dark inside, and I've known Connor long enough to that man can get darker than me, and I can get dark.
listen, man, all I gotta say, and this ties into the Tokoyami thing. All I gotta say, revelry in the darkness, baby.
Oh,
But I also
dude.
think
Oh.
Ojiro, because the man is literally, I think, probably besides Sugar Rush, I can never remember his damn name.
Sato.
Sato. The reason why I say Ojiro is because Ojiro is probably either the nicest or second nicest character.
Ojiro surprised me. I thought he was going to be really boring because it was just like, oh yeah, it's a dude with a tail. You know.
But the dude's a ninja!
Exactly. I didn't expect him to be, like, interesting to see how he uses a tail. I was just sitting there, like, oh yeah, I've seen tails and stuff, like, oh, maybe that's how he gets his power, like Dragon Ball. But, like, he is a very kind-hearted person, and was, like, in Season 2, he goes out of his way to help Deku with stuff, and give him insight to a situation that he wouldn't have known of otherwise. And to see him, like, genuinely be happy when Deku overcame that obstacle, it makes you feel really good that, like, he has grown to have a, like, supportive network in that class.
Ryan, you also said that you could see me as Ida, and that's really funny to me because I actually view Brendan, all of our mutual friend and my best friend. I view Brendan as Ida the most. So I'm very curious why you think I'm like Ida, and I'd really like to hear the reasons.
It's kind of selfish reasons because I understand in some reason for me personally, like, I feel very good connection with Deku, with his, like, whole challenges of stuff like that he goes through. And
Absolutely.
the reason I say I see you similar to Ida is because I feel like I have tried to compete with you with stuff, i.e., like, streaming. You seem to be better at streaming than I am. Example was earlier today, you ended up doing a stream that was fairly popular and well, like, you were having, like, conversations with your chat and, like, really holding, like, a good pace with, like, talking with everyone in there. And me personally, I'm like, okay, I want to be, like, good at that, and seeing you do it, I'm like, okay, that drives me personally to want to, like, compete. And I feel like I see Deku do that with Ida at times, and that's why I say it. Also, Ida's, like, he cares about his family. He like has his own motivation for everything. Like he knows what he wants to do in like deep down, like he has his goal in mind. And I
Mhm.
feel like I see similar stuff with you.
Well, I honestly, that's really cool that you kind of view me as your own kind of rival, and like in a cool way where like we bounce off of each other and help each other grow. Because I've definitely noticed that where like someone will pitch a random idea, like, "Hey, let's start a podcast," and normally people would be like, "Oh yeah, that'd be cool," and it stops right there. But with the two of us, it was, "All right, cool. So what are we gonna talk about? How are we gonna do this? When are we gonna record it? What are we gonna do?"
What's our time? What's the name for it? Like, what's our topics for the day and everything? And like,
And
I
you sit down, and most people it ends there. Most people it's like, cool, we planned it, let's never do it now. And then instead it's you messaging me in the middle of a live stream going, hey, let me get some admin permission so I can set up stuff for the live stream or for the podcast. Or hey, everyone, this is when we're starting it. If you want to involve, just like hop in. Like we actually pushed each other to keep going and actually make this a thing. And that's cool to me. And it's cool to
I
me that you view it like
I
as I'm your
really
rival.
do enjoy the idea of a friendly rivalry, and I feel like not only is like friendly rivalry a way to put it, but like encouraging each other's to do our best. Where like
We
we both have conversations with each other where we're like, no, you should do that. Like, don't just wait on it. Like, go do it now. And like, that's why we started working out together. Like, you and I started, and we were like saying about how we were going to do stuff together, and then like quarantine happened, and they froze the membership or whatever. But like, we both were dead set on doing it. And during quarantine, there's been times where we talk, and it's like, hey, like, I'm thinking about doing a workout, and we encourage each other to make sure we do stuff that like is good for us.
we're pushing each other to be better versions of ourselves, and I feel like that's the
Exactly.
best form of a rivalry we could have.
Yeah.
And
And
then I come in and go like, ah, yeah, working out's a thing.
which is
Coming
funny you
from
say that, Chris,
You
because you're
say
the
that,
most
but
ripped out
like,
of any of us.
hey, you're like the person that's there that's like hidden, where it's like you drop your ankle weights and everything, you're ready to go. Like,
Hey, want to hear something funny?
Chris is quite literally the Rock Lee of our friend group, where we're all like, "Yeah, dude, let's start working out," and Chris is like, "Guy Sensei, let me release the weights."
It's funny because when I started like really training like my endurance and everything, I was running around my town and I was actually wearing a 40-pound weight vest and two 4-pound ankle weights.
I remember that.
And I was just running constantly with these weights on.
So
I would
Chris is
be
quite
lying.
literally Rock Lee.
I would be lying to say watching My Hero and Deku like getting more power as time goes on hasn't made me be like, you know what, I can work out today. I can do like a set of curls and some push-ups and everything. Like, for some reason, I think the show, I'm enjoying it so much because I'm watching it and being like, yo, it's
I
not
could do
that hard.
that.
I can do this.
No,
Like,
I
Ryan,
could
I
do
feel
that.
the same thing
he had 6 months.
when I'm reading Superpowers. That book makes me want to do like at least 100 push-ups a day. And
So,
like
But
and
going
Superpowers as itself, beautiful book. Drew Hayes, you're a good novel. Not sponsored, just shouting out. But
no, it's just like the characters in that, like their progression makes me like I'm a normal person. I can get strong too.
So, talking about quarantine in general and how, like, seeing what everyone's been up to besides, like, us playing games together and, like, watching anime, what has been, like, your ways of getting through this and, like, keeping yourself busy? Because, like, I personally was like, alright, we're in quarantine, I'm going to go through backlog playing games, like, I read some books, and, like, have been trying a whole bunch of different new things, because I was like, feeling like I need to try it in order to see if I would like it and to see where I could go from there.
For
I
me,
know. Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
oh, okay. For me, it's honestly been reading a lot of the superpowered books that have taken at least a week, and it's kept me pretty occupied to the point where I've somewhat neglected some of my homework for college. Professors, I love you still, but your work sucks. But also, but also, I'm constantly. I'll go for drives. I'll walk around my town. I'll go for a hike. I went for like one hike, and I'll just walk around, or I'll organize my room for a better part of 2 weeks. I've kind of just not left my room because the weather hasn't been good enough for me to go running without hurting myself. So I've been just like organizing my room and reading books, and honestly just doing calisthenics to keep my pecs up.
Also, I just want to explain why me and Connor found it funny. Um, we are both similar and different in the regard of college. We don't feel it's the best path for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, I 100% agree.
I know for me personally, uh, what I've been doing and like to make do and everything like that is I still work. I'm technically an essential worker, so they still have me working. And with everyone else who's been dropping, they've been giving me more hours, changing my shifts, whatever. Um, I'm still pulling like 40 hours a week. And most people would groan at that. Most people, be like, "Shit, I don't get to relax." But I never thought I would see the day where I'm actually excited to go to work, and like I'm actually driven to go to work. And most of that's due to my coworkers, because like shout out to my coworkers, they're pretty solid people, especially like Corey and like Sue. Corey and Sue, those are the two main people who are like keeping me going. Oh, and I love you, but you're not there, so that's why. Um, but like it's honestly helped me in the sense of like I get to leave the house. Yeah, I'm putting my life at risk. Yeah, I'm in danger doing it, but I'm getting to leave the house. I'm getting to do something that helps people, even if only a little bit, and make a difference in people's lives and days and everything like that, especially in these trying times. And that's cool to me. And it's actually helped me kind of for the once in my life actually fix my sleep schedule. Like I have a set sleep schedule now where like I'm going to sleep at certain times and waking up at certain times, and I'm thriving from it. Like I actually have a set sleep schedule where it's not let me stay up as late as I can and then pass out and wake up at 3 in the afternoon and get pissed off because I missed half the day.
Dude, to
Like
see you doing, like, going to work and everything, you are a braver guy than I am, because there is no way that I would be comfortable doing that, even in, like, perfect health and stuff. I would be too scared of what could happen, and I gotta commend you on it.
honestly, there are days where I wake up and I'm like, what if today's the day? What if today's the day where I get sick and I go home and I screw up my parents, I screw up my brother, I screw up, my pets, everything. Like there are days when I wake up or I'm at work and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I shouldn't be here. I'm at risk. I'm putting my family at risk. I can't do this. I need to go home. And it's not perfect. I'm not, of clear mind at all time. There's definitely times where I'm sitting there and I'm panicking. I'm like, maybe I should call out today. And um I honestly probably should at some points. Like, especially when we were at the Apex and I was out, 6 days a week. I should not have gone into work those that many days, especially at that time, because that's just kind of rough. But I don't know. I'm glad I'm out and I'm glad I'm making a difference. It's a very minuscule difference. I'm not going to pride myself on, making a huge change in the world,
I wouldn't
but
say it's minuscule, dude.
I'm
World
helping
would
put
stop if
food.
people like you weren't
Yeah,
around.
I'm putting food on people's tables and I'm helping people eat, even if it's only something as simple as sandwiches. Like I'm helping other people and I'm giving other people, you know, stuff to help them keep going. And that I guess kind of fuels me. And having, my bosses and my coworkers rely on me for things and, everything like that makes me feel really good. It makes me feel happy that, I am, I'm a pillar here. People need me here. They need me to be doing things and like helping out. And that kind of drives me. And I guess that's what kind of drove me to fix my sleep schedule so I would be, more prim and proper and ready for work. And of course I have slip ups where I stay up till 3 in the morning and I'm like, shit. I have times where I call out and I'm like, I can't do this today, whatever. But that for me is a huge driving point to keep sane in these times, and that to me is a huge driving point. Period, just to keep going, is the fact that I can make a difference in people's day to day lives, and I can help people, and that's what I want to do. And obviously, I'm doing things I've never done before, like starting a podcast with my friends. That's something I never like I've thought about doing, and like I've seen other podcasts. I'm like, I could do that, and now I'm sitting here and I'm doing it. And who knows if this thing will take off? Who knows if this thing will just plummet? But I tried it, and that's cool to me. I'm working out more, and obviously, for any of you who have met me, I'm not a fit person by any means. I'm not terribly out of shape, but I'm not in shape by any means. And it's cool to me that this has given me the drive where I'm like, I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna live stream more and try to do the things I want to do and play games I want to play and try to build a community out of it, which I've been trying to do a lot more. And this has given me a good chance to. And I'm gonna work out on stream every time I get a follower. That was something I never thought about doing, and that's something cool that I just started doing and everything like that. And I'm doing a lot of things I've never done, period. And I'm picking up the things I've wanted to do. And it's really given me the drive to do them and give them my all. And that to me is really cool. And
So,
I'm thankful for the opportunity. All right, so our audio equipment kind of cut out there. So due to the technical difficulties, I think we're just going to end the episode there. This has been the Madhouse Podcast, our first episode. You can follow us on Instagram at madhouse.podcast. You can follow us on YouTube, subscribe maybe, Madhouse Podcast, same thing. I'm Connor Graham. This is Ryan Byrne.
yeah.
And our guest, Chris Saragusa, today.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody, for watching. Hopefully catch you the next time.
Peace.
Have
Bye.
a good one.